But the you who you're becoming, she's not available for that kind of outsourcing of power. She's done with that. And you know that. You can feel that. And instead, she's here to own her power. You're here to own your power. And you have crossed lifetimes to do that in this precise moment, right here and right now. Do you realize that? You have come through initiations over lifetimes to be here at this moment in time, to finally show up and not second guess yourself. Beautiful soul, welcome back to the Abundance Club podcast. I'm so pleased to have you tuning in today. I am your host, Amy Wilkinson, and there's something really special that I want to speak to today. This might go a bit deeper than what I normally go, although having said that, I feel like my podcast episodes are all pretty deep. But what I really want to speak really clearly and specifically to is something that I'm sensing and noticing and witnessing with women around me, women that are coming into my world, with women that are in my community. I've been feeling this myself. I've been kind of going through my own curriculum around this, and it's this collective threshold that so many of us are standing on right now, particularly as we are anchoring in this new paradigm energy. And it's really where an old version of who we have been is becoming impossible to uphold and maintain. And something truer is asking to come forward. Something truer is asking to be acknowledged and to lead. I want to speak to that in today's episode. And if you are here listening, I don't believe that that is by accident at all. Trust there is something here for you, because I know in this podcast, those that are meant to be here, your soul guides you here. So before we dive into that, there is something very special. Maybe you have seen an announcement that I'm going to announce something on the podcast today. You guys are hearing it first. I'm so excited to share this. The doors are open for my first in over 12 months overseas retreat. And I've really been waiting for the right moment to launch this, like to bring it to life. I've been patiently waiting for my soul, and I feel like I've been going through this period of preparation that's been getting me ready to lead this for a long time. And the time is now. So I'm really excited to finally share it, because I feel as though it's like spirit has selected this group of women whose souls have already said yes to this. I can see them, I can feel them, and maybe one of them is you. If you're here listening to this podcast, it is very likely. So this retreat is called Soul Rising Bali. So it is a 5-night all-inclusive soul-led transformative immersion retreat, which is going to be in May 2027. You'll be able to check out the dates in a moment. And it is in one of my favorite places on earth, the spiritual heart of Bali in stunning Ubud. It's a place that honestly feels like a second home for me, but that's another story altogether. And for 5 nights, we are going to have this exquisite private retreat sanctuary entirely for ourselves, a retreat sanctuary that has been built around curating in deeply transformative experiences for people. And this is for women who are ready to leave behind an outdated version of self, ready to remember who she truly is, ready to rise into the life her soul has been calling her towards for some time. It will be intimate, it will be deeply nourishing and unlike anything that I have offered before. Early bird prices are open now, both within a private or a twin shared villa. There is even a bonus if you book in soon, you get a private session with me. You can find out all the details, amywilkinson.io/retreat, or pop into the show notes and you will get the direct link for that. So if you can feel that something is stirring in you as I share this, please don't ignore that, because your soul may have already said yes and your humanness is catching up to that. So if this speaks to you, jump on in, be one of the first so that you can take full advantage of the early bird pricing and the little freebie that goes with it as well. Okay, so that aside, and really this theme around Soul Rising is going to carry on into this podcast episode. Something that I'm witnessing that actually feels quite exciting. And that's this deep desire that I'm noticing, witnessing, supporting women through at the moment. This deep desire for women to meet themselves and know themselves at a whole new level, like deeper than they've gone before, deeper than their conditioning, deeper than what their conditioning has allowed them to access. Because when we're ruled by our conditioning, which most of us have been for a really good part of our lives, there is this separateness that we unintentionally buy into. And so, in that, we have gotten really good at leaving ourselves. I've spoken about this before, right? We've gotten good at self abandoning to fit in, to belong, maybe to keep the peace, at settling for things that perhaps aren't for our highest and best, holding back our expression, our true words, hiding our true feelings, or even just feeling like we have to grind and hustle to get what we want. These are patterns that live within us and have been unconsciously ruling our life, right? They've been below our conscious awareness. The feeling of separateness creates a feeling of scarcity and lack within us. And so many are driven by that. What I want to speak to right now is the fact that none of that is actually the truth of who we are. It's the illusion that we keep alive by continuing to play those roles, by continuing to energize the not self, by keeping alive, by not actually questioning whether or not those roles, those versions of ourselves, those patterns have actually been serving us. So, what's happening now, particularly for the women I'm meeting that might be in their 30s, 40s, 50s, is this facade of performance and old patterns that we have known for years. It's been like a second skin, right? That was there. Like we bought that in. We bought into that at some point to keep us safe. But we have well and truly outgrown it. And so it's crumbling, it's cracking, shifts are happening. Because the version of you that initially subscribed to those patterns and behaviors is done. It's like contract complete. They're tired. And what's happening is, and notice this in yourself perhaps, it's becoming increasingly difficult to hold that identity, to continue those beliefs and those patterns. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. You are not that person anymore. And the higher, truer, more evolved version of you is ready to step in and lead. And in fact, they've already started to come into your life and lead in different ways. Maybe you just haven't noticed. Maybe you're just waking up to that now. Because who you are, that is who you are, your soul essence. This aspect of you is always within you. Quite often women will come into my world and into this work and think that they somehow have to find their soul, connect with their soul, go out and reach their soul. And it's again this feeling of like, I need to leave myself for that. But the soul brings us home. The soul is actually here, always within you, never separate. Separateness is this human-made. It's a human-made illusion. But this soul aspect has been waiting for you to finally acknowledge the truth of who you are. So why do so many of us struggle to acknowledge this? Because in order to do that, we have to be willing to know our true power. I call this our soul power. And that can feel like a lot. that feels a lot to the version of you that was so used to shrinking, hiding, playing small, abandoning, maybe not fully, but in parts, at least parts of herself, popping aspects in the shadow and covering it up with the conditioned coping mechanisms that we adopt, whether that's people pleasing, whether that's procrastination, whether that's self abandonment, whatever that may be. And the part of you that's settled for less than what you know you are actually here to receive, that part of you can't come with you into this next chapter, into the next iteration of your life that right now is calling you forward. But what I want to acknowledge here, where I want to meet you here, is that that can feel really big, like that can feel like a death. And many people go through this portal of grief because I think that most of us, in truth, we're not really afraid to fail or to fall or to make a mistake. We think we are. But I actually think that we're more afraid of what will happen if we were to fully claim our power as women, as souls, and men. This speaks to men as well, right? If we were to fully live in alignment with that soul truth. Because maybe you know on a deeper level that there is stuff that cannot come with you. Situations, relationships, people, beliefs that you've actually outgrown, roles that you played. And that can feel really scary to a part of you that just wants to stay in the comfort of the familiar, just wants to stay in the known. There is a part of you that wants that, sure. But what I want to say to you here is this: you have actually already moved beyond it. Your soul is already further ahead. Your soul is infinite. Your energy already knows what is done, what's no longer for you, what you have chosen. And your humanness is catching up because physical reality is always a lag behind what our soul has already chosen for ourselves. Energy moves first, frequency is first. Your soul has been to the future, your soul has been to the past, your soul is existing in other places. We understand this and it's communicating to you now. And the women who show up in my world, like they've already chosen, even if they don't know it at first. And if you're listening to this podcast, it's very likely that you have too. And this lag that we experience, this time lag, it's actually needed. It's actually for us because it gives us the opportunity to integrate this shift from who we were, from the old outgrown identity, into who we're here to become. And this is what we sense as this gap. But we are participating in that. We are choosing that. The part of you that maybe isn't quite ready to make the move, that isn't quite ready to leave the relationship, that isn't quite ready to set the boundary, that isn't quite ready to ask for what she wants, that isn't quite ready for the visibility or to make the decisions that the future you is making and has needed to make to get where they are. And so you have this space for a reason. It is here to support your becoming, to prepare you for what's next, for what you can't see yet. And maybe you're not meant to see it yet. So when we resist this preparation, when we resist this gap, it feels like it expands and it gets longer. When we can meet it and accept it and actually start to appreciate it, that's when we can begin to close this gap. And ultimately, it's closed through our decision, through us deciding. Maybe it's deciding that you can feel the fear and still make the move, that you can take that little leap that you know deep down your soul is asking you to make. You know, I often find with clients, they think they don't know what their soul's guiding them towards. They think they don't know the move. But when we clear out and untether them from the conditioning and the conditioned mind, they know it because the answer is already inside you, the solution, the guidance. I don't have that. You have that. I just help you to access that, to tap into that so that you can receive what is meant for you. So it's our choices, our choice to move as the evolved identity closes the gap. But that's not to say that this initiation is comfortable. It can feel deeply uncomfortable, this period that we're in between. And it's meant to. Because let's face it, like transformation is never super comfortable. You just ask the caterpillar, right? But know this, you are being led. And I feel like I'm on repeat in saying that. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, forgive me because I've probably said this a number of times, right? You are being led. There is a higher plan at play, and it's one that unfolds through you when you allow it. And your soul will never bring you anything. Life will never give you anything that you don't have the capacity within you to move through, to navigate. And so your soul is showing you and guiding you through your own unique soul curriculum. So there is something within you that's waiting to come alive. And just like the caterpillar, the codes, the cells of your future self, it's already within you. The caterpillar already has that. It's called imaginal cells, that blueprint. It's already within it. The blueprint to be the butterfly. The blueprint and what it's transforming into in its future self is already encoded within it. What does this mean? Like your future self isn't out there in the future. And this is why I prefer to use the term soul-led identity or evolved you. She's here now within you. She exists already, waiting for you to acknowledge her, waiting for you to bring her forward, to trust her enough to make the moves the old conditioned identity was too afraid to make. And that's okay. Maybe they weren't ready. But if this is showing up for you and you're feeling the calling and you've got the desires and you know that you're here for more, that's because you are ready now. You've gone through the initiation of life to bring you to this divine place where you can finally say yes, where you can finally back yourself. Because that old version of you maybe tied her identity and her worth to approval, to being liked and accepted, to the validation of others, to her output, like whatever it was. And in doing so, she wasn't fully able to claim who she's here to be and the life that she's here to lead. But the you who you're becoming, she's not available for that kind of outsourcing of power. She's done with that. And you know that. You can feel that. And instead, she's here to own her power. You're here to own your power. And you have crossed lifetimes to do that in this precise moment, right here and right now. Do you realize that? You have come through initiations over lifetimes to be here at this moment in time, to finally show up and not second guess yourself. Like we are here for such a blimp of time, a little speck of time in the grand scheme of infinity. And so have we really got time to dwell in the limited version of ourselves, in the self-doubt, in the questioning, in the second guessing, in the diminishing of ourselves, in the judging of ourselves? Who's got time for that, right? You're here to trust in who you are. And that knowing lives within you, waiting for you to remember. And this is the really exciting part. And the reason that this time we are in is called the Great Awakening. And you can't make this up. Like I am seeing that around me Women waking up to their true power. Do you know how exciting that is for life, for our future, for our children's future? When souls actually start to awaken and remember and look around and go, well, I can acknowledge that I've created this life, but hang on, there is so much more that's available to me because I've done this from a part of me that has never felt enough, a part of me that's felt unworthy. Can you imagine then, if you've created from the unworthy identity, what you can create when you remember who you are, what you can create from your wholeness and from your worthiness? Do you know how exciting that is? So the reason that it's called awakening is because of that. We are waking up from the dream. We don't have to wait until we cross over, until we leave this lifetime to realize how powerful we are, how limitless we are. We can wake up from that dream and that illusion right now and remember. Because it's only for so long that we can ignore the calling of our soul. You're not meant to. And it's only so long that we can ignore the shadow that's asking to be integrated and reclaim the lost parts of ourselves and fully love ourselves into life. And yes, it can feel sticky. There can be grief. It can feel uncomfortable when we're in it, which is why I always suggest working with a coach or guide or a mentor that can support you through it, that can help guide you back to that powerful truth that you hold within you. When women are reacquainted with their power, I believe that they are unstoppable. So all of this is to welcome us home. So I want to invite you, just let's take a moment to integrate this. Take a moment just to get quiet and contemplate. Ask yourself, what has actually become too heavy for me to continue holding? Knowing that you don't need to hold it anymore. What does my soul already know is complete that maybe I haven't felt fully ready to acknowledge? And your soul's only going to show you what you are ready now to meet and move through. And what is one decision the most truthful, fully expressed version of me is ready to make now? Knowing that you don't have to see the entire path. All you need to know is, what's my next move? Can I honor that? Can I choose as that? Can I move as that version of me? And life can become deeply uncomfortable. And I want to acknowledge that. Like, life can become uncomfortable when it is guiding us towards something more. Yes, there is the crumbling and the cracking of the old, but that's all to build this beautiful new vessel in who you are becoming that can sustain and hold and receive the life your soul is guiding you towards. So what I want you to know about that discomfort is that is not evidence that something is going wrong, that you've made a wrong move. Sometimes it's your soul showing you what can no longer remain if you are ready and meant to meet the level of love and fulfillment and expansion that you're finally ready to receive. So the transformation doesn't have to be messy. Expansion does not always have to be painful. Like, we don't need to suffer our way through it. And when you understand that life is actually working for you, it's working with you and for you, even when it doesn't yet appear that way. When we understand this, we get to stop fighting the transition. We get to stop arguing with reality, and we begin participating in it. And in turn, reality then begins to transform around us, reflecting the identity that you're now choosing to embody, to claim, to own. And really, this is what inspired Soul Rising Retreat. It's created for the women that I'm meeting now, those women that are no longer available to settle, the women who are ready to remember who they are, to reclaim their inner authority, not to outsource their power anymore, and to finally let their souls lead them. So if this episode has spoken to something within you, maybe, just maybe, Bali is calling you too. It would be such a delight to meet you there. This beautiful invitation that it comes with for you to step away from the familiar, be from the noise, and surrender into being deeply held and deeply nourished, and just create that space for you to hear yourself again, create that space for you to let your soul rise and to be nourished by the land and the food and the practices and the rituals and the immense beauty of this private sanctuary. You get to release what is no longer yours and really embody, like embody in real time, the woman who's waiting for you, who's been within you all along. So remember, you can go to amywilkinson.io/retreat, or details are in the show notes. But just know this: your soul is rising. It is meant to. And also, you're right on time with this. The question is, are you ready to rise with her? Are you willing to allow yourself to become her? Your soul, that identity, who you came here to be. Get excited because it's all happening now. Thank you so much for being here, for joining me in my little corner of my home here. You might be able to see the ocean behind you if you're watching this on Spotify or YouTube. Yeah, take good care of yourself. This is a big time. We are still in between these powerful eclipses as well. So utilize this time to slow down, to nourish yourself, to get your feet on the earth, to drink lots of water, to get quiet, to journal, to tend to you, because all of this is here for you right now. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to follow along on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. Share this episode with someone else, with another soul sister that you know could benefit from these reminders, this remembrance. And if you could also take a moment to give us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast, I love you for it. Thank you so much.